guys, it's Jamie from Spool School. I'm so sorry I had so much trouble with Facebook Live today. My internet in here just decides to go out every once in a while, so today is one of those days. Usually it works fine, but today not working. So I just decided to go ahead and record this so I could still bring it to you, but just a little bit later and not live. So we are making some no-sew scrunchies today. So scrunchies are always one of my favorite things. They are another one of my very favorite early finisher projects, and I am so happy they are back in right now because they are one of the easiest things to sew if you do decide to sew them, and they're just so useful. And like, I mean, as a child of the 90s, you know, that was my whole world was scrunchies for a while, so I just love them still. And they're so nice because they don't like bend your hair and all that. So we all love them, and since not all of you have a sewing machine at home, I wanted to show you how to do these. Even if you don't have a sewing machine, you can of course hand sew the style that we all know and love, but this is a little different, and I think it's really fun, and it kind of reinforces the hand sewing skills, so even little tiny kids could do this if you want them to. So what we're going to do, we're going to need a little bit of fleece. Fleece is one of my favorite things to sew with little kids with because you don't have those edges that fray, so they can sew things together any which way, and they always end up looking good. So they can sew a pillow with the wrong sides out if they want to, you know, little dolls, all kinds of stuff. So fleece I love. I always have lots of fleece scraps around here, and we make these donut pillows here for, mine isn't finished, don't look at this part. We make these for my beginner kids class, so I always have a ton of fleece because we use it for the frosting. So I always have random giant fleece scraps like this that I can't really use for a whole lot of stuff, but it is perfect for this project. So if you have a little bit of fleece at home, or you could also use felt. Fleece is a little better because it is washable, and I don't know that felt would go through the washing machine very well. You could also use any kind of non-fraying fabric, so you could use any kind of t-shirt fabric, or you know, anything that's not going to fray a lot. And even if you wanted to, you could totally use things that would fray, but I think for this project, the fleece and you know, felt, flannel, those kind of things that don't really fray as much work best. So let's get started. So what we need is the fleece. I'm trying to bring this into the camera for you, okay? And I found in my research today that these little Keurig cups make the perfect size circle for these. You can make your circles as big as you want, because what we're going to be doing is just making a whole bunch of circles out of fleece. So you can make them as big as you want, but you know, you can experiment with them. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to just draw around this. And what I'm probably going to do is just stack my fabric up on top of each other and then kind of freehand it, because it can get a little difficult to keep drawing all of these circles. But we're just going to draw a whole bunch of circles and then cut them out. Depends on how big you want your scrunchie to be and how fully covered you want it to be, how many circles you're going to want to have. So I'm just going to cut my circles out. And I'll cut these 3, and then I'm just going to stack some up and freehand it, so you're not sitting here forever with me while I cut circles. This stuff is better on Facebook Live because you're kind of doing it along with me. I wasn't prepared for a full-scale recording here, but this is roll with the punches. So here we go. So I'm going to fold this and make some more circles. I'm just going to do a bunch of them. If you don't have just random flannel fabric lying around your house, you can, if you're a child, ask for your parents' permission before you do this, but You can cut up some old blankets and things like that. I know we pretty much all have those fleece throws hanging around our linen closet somewhere, so those are a really good place to find fleece if you don't want to get some from the fabric store or online, because those options are limited at the moment. So, but there's always fabric in our houses somewhere. You can find it. Just be resourceful and ask permission, of course. When I was a kid, I used to get into all kinds of fabric and I got in trouble all the time because I would cut things up I was not supposed to. And I still kind of do that, but now I'm the mom, so I get to do that. Okay, so I've got a bunch of circles. How many you want just depends on you, and you can cut a few out and then play around with them and see if you want to cut some more. So what we're going to do now with our circles, we're going to take our scissors, and let me draw this on here for you so you can see where we're going to be doing this. We're going to be cutting little lines in it like this, okay? So it looks like a pig nose. Look at me. And you can fold these in half and then just cut little snips. You don't want to make them too big because then your elastic or t-shirt yarn or whatever you are using is going to be kind of flopping around. So you want them just about as big as you, or just about as small as you can have them and still have some space. So I'm stacking 2 up at a time and doing it that way. Just cutting those little snips into the middle. Sharp scissors help here. If you don't have scissors as sharp as mine, of course you can do them in just one layer, and that is totally acceptable. I don't think I can do 3 layers even with my sharp scissors. I'm going to go back to 2. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we've got all our little snips cut into this right here. And now what we're going to begin doing is threading this through with our either t-shirt yarn. This is t-shirt yarn. I just cut a 1-inch strip from some stretchy fabric, or probably not even 1 inch. It looks almost like a 1/2 inch, but I cut a little bit out of some stretchy fabric, and then you can pull it like this, and it will go ahead and roll in on itself, and then it creates this really nice stretchy band. So you just need one that's got a lot of recovery. Some t-shirts are stretchier than others. So I've been doing this a lot when I'm making mask strings. So this is what I've been making them out of, because there's not a lot of elastic available right now because everybody is making masks. I do have some that I usually use for scrunchies here, but this is too big for masks. So I am going to use this because I have a lot of this. But don't think if you're making masks that I'm holding out on you, because I have no elastic besides this and wider stuff. So anyway, what I'm going to do is put this elastic on the end of a pin, and this is my super giant safety pin that was my grandma's, and it's amazing and huge. So I'm going to take this and I am going to thread it in between these 2 little holes right here. So I'm going to go up through like this, and then I'm going to go down like that. So it's basically sewing that running stitch that we've been doing. If you've been with me for some of the other projects, that's what we're doing. So it ends up on here like this. You can see it from the back. So we're just basically sewing that onto here, and we're just going to keep doing that. And you can experiment going different ways, like you can put some of them at the front, some of them at the back, but that's all we're doing. And we're going to just thread those on here like this. Obviously, try not to get them to go down this far. You may want to stick another pin or tie this around something if you want to make sure they don't go on there that far. And when you start getting good at this, you could probably just stack a couple of these up on top of each other so you don't have to be threading. That may not work. Let's stick with one. I think if we thread them on top of each other, it might get stacked up in a weird way. So you see I'm building them up really nicely now. we're just going to keep going doing that, like that. They remind me kind of like flower petals. Here we go. I think I have one more. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of these on here. And now all you have to do is pull off your safety pin and bring these two ends together. Figure out kind of where you want, how big you want this to be. When I'm making scrunchies with everybody, I have everybody put them on their wrist like this, and then I tie around their wrist because, as we all know, we wear these around our wrists. So if, that way I can accurately gauge if it will go into your hair really easily and be able to wrap around. So as long as it can go on your wrist, it's going to go in your hair. So here we go. We're going to wrap this around and just tie it. I can't tie on my own wrist, so we're going to go like this. Okay. And don't waste elastic like I am. I'm being very wasteful here. I always save my scraps and sew them back together. Okay, and there we go. It's all tied together, and you can cut off any little extra threads, and there you go. So you've got your adorable No Sew Scrunchie, and you can make a whole bunch of these and give them to people when we can see them again. And but in the meantime, you can do your own hair with them. And I'm going to do some pigtails since I have no audience but you. I can get away with it, even being 43 on Sunday. There we go. Scrunchies. No Sew Scrunchies. And if you've got fleece, you can do this. If you've got fleece and some kind of stretchy thing, you can make these and you can go out and rock your awesome scrunchies. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully my internet will work and I can be back on Facebook Live, but if not, I will just record it again. So I will see you then. Bye-bye.